Welcome back. So did we make it back to France?
I think we told them already that we made it.
I mean,
obviously.
because we're here, but
Yeah.
did we make it on time? Because I needed to go to the retreat. And who paid it? Like all of these questions we're gonna get into today. And if you don't understand any of that, we really recommend you to watch our previous video, which we will link in the description.
I think we missed some emotions in the last video because everything seems to work out. We spoke about Romans 12:2, renewing your intelligence. Of course, this helped a lot, but deep enough, I think I was more stressed than I really spoke about.
Yes.
At some point, I felt we're gonna go bankrupt.
Okay, wow.
And I didn't want to share this with the family. Bankrupt is like we didn't have any savings, and the plane tickets for 4 of us coming back would have been more than 10,000. And I really had this huge pressure on me not to panic. And internally, I was boiling and really wondering how it's going to happen. This was a big stress.
Yeah.
Thankful to my wife, over the years, she told me, don't come to me with your financial pressure. Fears.
Yeah.
First, go to the Holy Spirit and talk about
Yes.
it. And that's what you did. But did you feel it that I was stressed, or did you feel?
Yes, I think we all felt it. Like it was, that's what we always say, like it affects the atmosphere, even if it's not spoken, if it's spoken even more, but everybody really feels the tension. That's why I really told you in the beginning, like, no, we don't want this vacation to be stolen by us, but it's our decision to choose to trust and not fear.
What I was actually very sad a couple of years ago, Shamara told me, your fears, actually your financial fears, they, how do you say, they dropped or they spoiled on our son, on the family. And I think sometimes we're not really aware as men, what we carry sometimes has more consequence than just a bad atmosphere.
Yeah, it like trickles down to the next generation, especially the eldest kids that take up the tension, they step into responsibility, they step into trying to make it happen somehow, and it's not their responsibility to do. So it does affect, it's not just about us, but with various different topics too.
And we see it in our own lives. What did we get from our own parents? Anyway, so we are in Thailand. The plane, as we said last time, has been cancelled. And I think we should start the last evening in the hotel.
Yes. I mean, we also already said that the insurance and the flight company didn't pay anything, or said they're not going to pay anything because of war.
Yeah, so nobody wants to cover.
No. So that was a big pressure in the beginning, but I felt instantly that God will take care of it.
Originally, I wanted to keep the last evening like a special, and I did a surprise. I invited the family in a nicer hotel. They didn't know about it, but that hotel was quite expensive. So suddenly, we have to stay 3 more nights in that hotel. I was like, I cannot afford this. Let's move somewhere else. I went to the concierge, to the hotel manager. I said, could you maybe help? They said no. So I wrote a couple of friends. I said, maybe you know someone in Bangkok, some other missionaries, we could stay at their place. Nobody really knew anything, but one guy, one pastor that actually sent us on that holiday, in our bag, he booked 3 hotel nights.
Yeah, it was sneaky because he just asked you, like, where are you exactly? Because then I can see if I know anybody around. And because he knew the name of the hotel, he booked it. And we were just like amazed by the extravagance. Because it wasn't necessary at all to stay another 3 nights at that hotel. We could have moved because there's a lot of like Airbnbs that are way cheaper, but it felt just like an incredible gift from God. You taking care of us for the 1 night, and then God stepping in and extravagantly made it longer, prolonged it. So that was the first thing where we're like, wow. And just like I think the mental load fell off because we didn't have to think about like packing everything again, moving somewhere else and all of that. We could just stay.
I have to say, I was still super stressed. I think this is when I had the highest level of stress.
Oh, after that, that he...
for me and the girls, I said, doesn't really matter if we don't come on Sunday back home because we don't have to go to the retreat. But I was super stressful for her. I was wondering, what if she is too late? What if the plane is canceled again? And this is when I started to be a little bit in panic mode. But again, I hope you didn't feel it.
We always feel it. I don't think
But,
we
but,
don't
but you
feel it.
didn't know what I was doing in your back.
No, that was when we talked about it last video, that I took a bath and listened to the song It Is Well With My Soul on repeat and felt the peace come down and just the assurance that God will take care of it.
Yeah, so I prayed about it and I was like, what should I do? What if she's too late? And I had the impression I should ask someone. And for me, it's hard to ask someone. But there is someone I know that I trust, and I asked them, can you please help me to buy an extra plane ticket only for Shamira that she can go home? I didn't say how much it would cost. I just said, can you help?
Yeah, it was super expensive.
And they basically sent the entire amount that covered for the plane tickets. At the end, I paid 13 euro on top of it. But it was all paid. And this was such a big present.
Yeah.
And I think,
And then you were calming down afterward.
Yeah, after the tickets were paid, I came down. And it was beautiful. It took me 2.5 hours to buy those tickets. It was complicated. Everything was canceled.
Yeah.
When you will buy it, someone else bought it. It was very complicated.
Yeah.
So I went back to the room. Shamira didn't know. I guess she wondered, why is he so long in the lobby?
No, because you were saying you're working, and I remember you came into the room. I was already at peace after that incident of panic, and you were saying, okay, you have a couple of hours time. You're leaving tomorrow morning. The taxi's picking you up at 4 a.m. for a flight to London at 6 a.m. And you can only bring a little bag and sleep.
Yeah.
It was like 10 o'clock in the evening. I had until 4. First you're like, oh, no, but how should that work? No, I don't want to leave my family. I don't have time to say goodbye, really. I don't have time to pack. I'm leaving now. And just everything feels overwhelming.
Yeah.
Took the taxi very early with nobody on the streets. I never saw Bangkok so quiet. And it started to rain like crazy, which we haven't seen in Bangkok up till then. And I really felt the provision of God raining down. One thing maybe I forgot to mention is when you came and you said, it's all paid. And I said, well, who paid it? And you said the person doesn't want to know, doesn't want you to know. They want to stay anonymous. And in the first instant, I was like, no, but I really want to know. And you said, no, I'm not going to tell you. But quickly, I really felt like it's probably better not for me to know, because, the person knows me, and knowing is not always easy if you receive such a big gift and you see them again. And we could board. It was a flight that was 12 hours and 40 minutes. And I was like, wow, I've never was in a plane this long. It was great. I arrived in London there, and the adventure was not over in London because there was another little adventure waiting for me. I think I had 5 hours in London. And so I was just sitting there, walking around a little bit, excited about my next flight. Then we all moved to the gate, and we were waiting in the stairs and in between. And there, we were waiting for an hour. And then suddenly one guy comes and he's like, I'm very sorry, there's technical issues, this machine can't fly. But another machine from Morocco just came. It's on another gate, we can use that, but the pilot and everybody have to go there too. So you all go to that other gate. So it took another 45 minutes until we saw the crew come.
Wow.
And then we also knew when the crew comes, it will take time for them to take care of the airplane and everything.
Exactly.
Okay. It was time to board. We went because we went from outside. It was so windy. They even told us it can't be that windy. But then when we went out, the wind was so hard, extreme. We went inside the plane. Everybody was sitting. Then suddenly we hear a person saying, I'm really sorry, something hit the wing of the plane because of the wind. We need the technicians to come out and see if this plane can fly. After a time of waiting again, we heard the manager. He was saying, I'm the manager of EasyJet.
Yeah.
And all of us knew this plane is not flying.
I was not in bed because I was waiting.
Yes, you were saying that you're gonna wait.
I'm gonna wait to be sure everything works well. And I was like, not again, what's gonna happen? It was very frustrating. You had the impression that it was hard to return.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and just like there was another push and as well like disappointment because I could have been home already a long time ago. The manager was saying, rebook, go in a hotel, you can fly tomorrow, we'll take care of everything. And I don't have a phone. Everybody in the plane started rebooking. I saw it. There's going to be no flights anymore because I can't rebook now. I don't have a phone.
You don't have internet in the plane yourself.
Yeah,
because
on my laptop.
Yeah.
So I had to just wait, and we couldn't get off the plane either very quickly. So as soon as we could get off,
she wrote me.
Yeah.
So I was glad I didn't go to bed.
Yeah.
And I tried to book a plane ticket for the day after, but of course,
and a hotel room too.
And a hotel room, and all the early planes are gone. So the
Yes.
next one at 3 in the afternoon.
Yes.
So a little bit, frustration on both sides.
Another adventure, another change of plan. I went into the hotel, I slept very good, had a very nice breakfast, and then flew on to Geneva. Arrived at 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
On Friday. So 2 days before us, which was a miracle. So really felt God he was crazy. He was really like paying for things,
Yeah.
like through people, of course.
Yeah.
And then it was us in Bangkok with the two girls. We enjoyed that hotel for 3 days. At last, when we knew she's at home, we could relax and enjoy this hotel,
And
which
you
was
really
beautiful.
enjoyed it. They sent us they sent me pictures of like their matchas, their little cakes at the pool and everything.
So Shamira was at home, she was going to the retreat, everything was fun. The next little adventure was wondering, are we really going to go through Abu Dhabi? What's going to happen there? And we had to spend 25 hours in Abu Dhabi. So the idea was to stay and sleep in the airport. At the same time, you're wondering, what if bombs are falling on the airport and anything? It was very tense.
Yeah, very unsure and insecure.
Yeah. And, there were friends asking, and one lady, she asked, hey, where are you going to sleep? And I said, I'm going to stay in the airport. And that person sent money. He said, I want you to go out of the airport and stay at a place. So there was another miracle.
Yes.
We arrived in Abu Dhabi. Of course, it was strange to be close to a war zone. Went to the hotel, enjoyed one last pool, went to bed,
And the warm.
ate well.
The heat. And
And we thought, we need to get out of here before something is going to happen. You never know until the last minute. Is it going to be canceled? I'm going to stay here maybe for a week or longer.
And even like I was checking, just like, are the flights going out of Abu Dhabi or not? Because in the morning, the airspace was closed because of bombs. And
We heard those bombs. So in the morning at 7:30, 34, we receive on our phones, go and hide, missiles are coming in, stay away from the doors, stay away from open spaces. Actually, what we did, we run to the window to check, which is actually quite strange. And we heard 5 deflagration very far. And the number 6 was strong. And we knew, okay, this is there's something happening here. So an adventure again. And I think it was interesting for me as a dad, how do you deal being in places that are kind of dangerous, because usually we are not in places like this.
Yeah,
we're not in a war situation. And I was really wondering about the people with families, with kids, with babies. It's very difficult.
Yeah.
And this was just a very little stress. Nothing really to worry. Maybe for someone that has never been in a war zone.
Yeah, which we haven't either.
Yeah.
So for you not to worry.
Yeah, but it was already, you could feel this tension as a dad. How can I protect my family when there's actually not much you can do?
And for me, somebody asked me, were you not scared because like that your family will not arrive.
Yeah.
I paused and I thought about it. I wasn't stressed at all. I really had confidence, like faith in God that He will protect you.
Yeah.
As well, we've like seen His extravagance in ways we've never felt. And as well, I knew the flight companies are not going to take any risk. So they're not going to fly you even to Abu Dhabi if there would be any risk, or out of Abu Dhabi.
Yeah. We made it into the plane, we
Yes.
left the Middle East, and for the first time I was happy to leave my holiday, that it was over, leave the region.
So we just wanted to share our little experience with you and encourage you, no matter what you go through, God is with you and there's always a way. There's always a way, maybe so extravagant as we've experienced it, as we've never experienced it really, that He comes through in ways you don't expect. So even in your prayer life or in your, just like in your mind, expect also the unexpected. Because a lot of times we're just like, oh, this will happen, the minimum of the minimum. That's what I can believe for. But God like loves to bless His children.
And I love what you mentioned, expect. And I think sometimes in a couple with different expectation, and I speak very often with men, usually they say my wife has more faith, which is quite sad to hear. But very often I hear this, she has more faith. And as we said in the first video, we need to learn to partner with that faith instead of bringing down. Shamira from time to time said, your lack of faith is making me, it's making me, I lose time. It affects me a lot. I'm losing time because every time your lack of faith is bringing my faith down, it's difficult for me to come back, or it takes time.
Yeah, because of what you say in the situation, it's like then I need energy out to like get out of that.
If I didn't have Shamira, I would go straight to trying to fix everything myself. And of course, I still have this in the back of my head, but over time, I've learned to calm down and listen. And I think this is every time I realize later on, it's been a blessing to wait, not panic, listen to you, go to the Holy Spirit and wait for His solutions.
Yeah, and it's a team effort. It's like once it's you, once it's me, just to be aligned together, aligned with heaven and not aligned with circumstances. So we really do hope you enjoyed this video. It was a great one to do, and we're just marveled by what God has done. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye.